Hello, and welcome back to Madness in the Method, the greatest Nicolas Cage podcast, and I mean, just in general, one of the greatest podcasts of all time. My name is Tobias, and with me as always is my friend and trusty co-host, Christopher.
Hello, everyone.
Hello! And today in this officially penultimate episode of the podcast, we'll keep doing it, but you know, what we planned on. We're talking about something that is becoming increasingly rare these days. For better or mostly for worse. We're talking about a good, I don't want to give it away or put words in your mouth, but a good Nicolas Cage movie?
Yeah, I'll agree.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah. We're talking about the 2021 dark drama with a hint of thriller, Pig. Directed by Michael Sarnowski and co-written by Michael Sarnowski and Vanessa Block. It's the story of Nicolas Cage. Well, it's the story of a truffle hunter played by Nicolas Cage, who lives out in the wilderness of the Oregon forests with his beloved truffle pig. And one day someone attacks him in the dark of the night, steals his pig, and he goes on a quest to find who took the pig from him. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do this the proper way. The last episode we were kind of all over the place. Had you seen this movie before?
No.
But you had heard of it.
Obviously, and this was one of the movies. And I was thinking about that because we said that last week. That this was one of the movies that created this podcast, and it was not.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember just thinking about it that this movie came out after we started podcast, and I told
true.
I told you don't go watch it, and you say I won't, and then it took like. I think it was like 3 months, and then you were like, yeah, I saw it. It was very good.
Well, I had to.
Yeah, and I told you, this is gonna be the perfect end of the podcast. It's just like Adam Sandler one. We're gonna end up with a great one. You're like, yeah, but I'm gonna watch it though.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the trailer and all the talk around it. It was just so up my alley. It's just like, this movie's made for me. So and I had my other podcast where we talk about just new movies that are out. So it's like, fuck it, I'm watching it.
So I was expecting greatness from this, just based because I saw the trailer. I did when the trailer was released, and I only heard good things about it. And it really felt like, I'm not agreeing with that now, obviously, but this felt like Nicolas Cage's Uncut Gem. But that was before I realized he was an actually great actor.
Yeah, exactly.
So now I would say it's. I was expecting not as much at this point in the podcast as I was at the beginning.
Okay.
Put it like that, because I was like, no, he's done his best work. It's behind him. He's already this. He's still some good stuff in him, but I can't. He's done so much good through the years, so this one can't be like the best. Again, paralleling with Uncut Gems, who is definitely Adam Sandler's best.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna. I liked it. I'm not gonna go in more to that. But you have seen this before.
Yes.
And you liked it.
I liked it a lot. It was one of my favorite movies of 2021. I think it's. Hold on, I have my list here. Honestly, it is. I think it is technically my favorite movie of that year. But that year was also, had a little weird one. Had the Snyder Cut, which I put at number one because it was such an experience when I saw that, and I defend that movie. I will defend that. I will die upon that hill. That movie is amazing.
It wasn't a movie. It was an event.
Yes, it was. It was a religious experience. And around the time of starting to make this list, when you start compiling it around November, going into December, and then January the next year, I had just seen Last Night in Soho, which was also. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Who was director of that one again?
It's Edgar Wright.
Yeah, it's Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
And I was, for some reason, I was very not into Edgar Wright when that movie came out.
Okay, yeah.
I don't remember why, really, but it was something with, Edgar Wright, I'm done. No. Yeah. So I never saw it.
No, a lot of people soured on him because of this movie. I don't really get it. I think if I would make my list now, Pig would be number one. But I think Last Night in Soho is a great movie. But yeah, like just looking at it objectively, Pig is the best movie of 2021 that I watched at least.
Oh yeah, I think it was Baby Driver who soured.
Oh, okay.
Right for me, it was a good movie, but it was just so.
It wasn't the same.
It was so something with that movie made Edgar. It sort of exposed Edgar Wright's flair over substance in a way.
Sure.
And it sort of ruined him in a way. Again, it's not a bad movie, it just ruined the director and his style for me in a way.
Yeah, because you had that perfect Cornetto trilogy, and then another one that some people love, some people hate, Scott Pilgrim. I love it. But yeah, I see what you mean. Baby Driver is probably his weakest movie, but I still like it. I like it a lot. But we're not here to talk about Edgar Wright, damn it. We're here to talk about Pig, Nicolas Cage.
So, when you got into it this time, do you still think it's as great as the first time? Or worse, or better?
This is the third time I'm watching it, I think.
And when was the last time? Was it a while back, or was it just a few weeks?
No, it was a while ago. Let me see. It should be logged in my diary. Show my activity. I saw it the first time. Yeah, I saw it in December of 2021. Then I saw it. Yeah, I probably saw it again. Then for my list, I saw it in February of 2022. So now a little over 2 years later. So it's been 2 years since I saw it. Back then, I gave it 4.5 out of 5. I still did that now, but thinking about it, I might bump it down to a 4, but I'm not sure. There were some things.
We're not talking scores here.
Sorry. Hey, whoa, hey.
I was only asking: do you think is it as good or better or worse as the last time you saw it?
It is as good.
All right.
Barely.
So memory have not forsaken it in a way.
No. I still love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh God, I was getting emotional last night. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I am definitely gonna put this as a easy top 5 of all of his movies.
Oh yes.
I'm not putting it as 1, but it's easily top 5. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's debatable, and I think we should maybe not today, but at some point try to make a top 10 list as some sort of special episode or something.
Yeah, or we could do this extra long next week. Anyway.
Sure.
We'll take that then.
Yes,
we'll do that then. Both of us like it a lot.
Yeah.
And it's a very, I would say, which is both in its it is a good thing and a bad thing for me, subjectively. It's a very small movie.
Very small.
And I'm not talking small as in indie. It's a small story.
Yes.
It's a very very small and not at all bombastic in any way.
No, it's very understated. Very, very understated.
Yeah, and I think that is very cool. It makes the movie very impactful. But it's not for me. I think it falls a little because of that for me.
Okay.
But that is because it is one of those stories it's a very good, it's a very crafted story. I would say this is almost just as a craftsmanship, this is almost a perfect movie, I'd say.
Oh yeah.
But for me, the story does not impact me that much.
Okay.
Because it is so understated and it is so small emotions in a way, or big emotion but small expression of emotions. And it's sort of it didn't really get me. You said earlier that you were very emotional, almost crying
I was crying.
Yeah, you was crying, and I was like, oh, that's pretty sad.
Yeah.
But I think it's just subjectively. I need more flowing music and more things like that, and big gestures and big emotions. And there's a little too small emotions for me to really get caught up in it.
I think it also helped that I had seen it before, because I wasn't crying at the point where you would think, like when stuff is revealed. I was crying in scenes leading up to that because I knew what was going to happen. Oh no! After this is when they tell him. I'll tell. It's the scene where Robin, Nicolas Cage's character, and Amir, Alex Wolff's character, are preparing the dinner for his father.
One of the best scenes in the movie.
Oh God, yes. Just because. I don't know how much can we talk about specific scenes without spoiling it.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
Should we do a full-on spoiler of this movie?
I think we have to for certain scenes, but we'll try to do it like 10 more minutes, 5 more minutes, where we just talk about it in general, and then we can talk about specific scenes. Yeah. We can go into just in general Nicolas Cage's performance.
Oh yeah.
My God, talking about understated, but also like just magical. He is so good in this.
Yeah. This really felt like we talked a lot of that, I think, in the beginning of this podcast, in the first season of the podcast, Road to the Oscar.
Yes.
That he hasn't done for a while because he's been such a main character, but he's so good at reacting to stuff.
Oh yes.
So if the emotion in this man's eyes when he really wants to, amazing, because he doesn't do a lot in the movie.
No, he doesn't talk a lot. He doesn't do a lot. Like you said, he reacts, or people around him act a certain way because he's there.
Yeah.
Speaking of the lunch scene with the chef, Jesus Christ, another like one of the best scenes in recent cinema ever. Jesus Christ, we'll talk more about that in a little while.
Oh.
He's so good, and the fact that he mentioned that somewhere. Here. Nicolas Cage mentioned in some interview that this film, Mandy and Color of Space, all starring. No, wait, that's the wrong one. Where he had a quote that he wanted to show that he could still do like proper acting, basically.
Oh, okay.
Because even in the good movies in recent years, like Mandy and Color of Space, it's very big performances.
Yeah,
it's very Rage Cage. It's very and then of course all the other garbage he makes in between those movies. He's very colorful, and he wanted to show that he could do like a reined-in, small but powerful performance. He definitely does.
Oh yeah.
In this, it's insane.
I gotta say, it took. I knew sort of, because I'd seen the trailers. I knew sort of what was going on, but it was a while before I could sort of accept that it was a quiet role, or a very not bombastic role.
Sure, yeah.
It was like, because it really has that feeling throughout the movie, and I feels like that's intentional in a way to subvert expectation, but this really feels like a movie that it's gonna have an action end scene.
Yes, and that's also
in just how it's constructed, and that sort of primed me to not to be like annoyed at Nicolas Cage for not. Come on, let's do the thing now. Come on, come on,
do it now. Be Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
dance, monkey.
And it took a while. It was like maybe 10-15 minutes before it like settled that, oh, okay, so this is the kind of performance we're in for.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that also maybe ruined some of the experience for me. Maybe expectations in a way.
Yeah.
And that is because we're watching Nicolas Cage in this way that we're doing.
Definitely.
Because like before this, it was like Willis Wonderland, and before that it was Prisoners of the Ghostland. Before that was Primal. It's like before that Grind Isle. So it's I was primed
very different.
in a way.
Yeah. And also, I don't know how much that influenced you since it's been a while, but the trailers and some of the buzz around the movie really sold it as like it's John Wick but with a pig. Which
I think I have somewhere in the back of my mind.
Which somewhere. In the sense that it's a sort of like not revenge, but like looking for the people who took the thing from you, which that's Nicolas John Wick as well, but there they kill his dog. Spoilers. Here the pig is just kidnapped, so there's a chance he might find it, for real. So it's not really like a revenge story, but it's looking for the people who stole the thing you love, basically.
Yeah,
similar in that way, but it's not at all an action movie. But the trailers kind of sold it like that a little bit.
That's something I would say because if we have people listening who has not seen the movie but is going to see the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
That is my first tip, to just don't think of this as a neither revenge or a detective movie. This is just it's an emotional drama.
Yes, it's 100% a drama.
Yeah, it's an emotional drama but it has the framing of a revenge movie.
Yes,
in a way, and that's interesting. It's very subverting expectations, and again, without spoiling, but like the end, the big resolution ending is also very subversion of expectation. That you think, oh, it's gonna go this way, and then it's gonna go, it goes another way.
Oh yeah, definitely. So tiptoeing around it, we're almost at 20 minutes. So from here on out, we won't avoid spoilers. If we got to talk about something specific, we will. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want it spoiled, pause here. Spoilers. We're going to talk specifics. Spoilers, exactly. But then come back and finish the episode, of course. But just to wrap the spoiler-free episode, spoiler-free part up, really good movie. I highly recommend it, especially if you're a Nicolas Cage fan, a real Nicolas Cage fan.
Not a Rage Cage fan.
No. You enjoy him in all the facets of his performances. Yeah. So, spoiler time. When he finds out that the pig died... No, I'm kidding. Well, no, that's... I'm going back to the scene that made me cry. It's the dinner scene. It's the scene where Robin and Amir are cooking the dinner for Amir's dad, whatever his name is, the dad.
Darius,
right. Yeah. And he's doing this. I mean, you don't know it then, but I knew since I'd seen it before that he's doing this to sort of like try to evoke some, like bring back Darius really from this like dark, cold, emotionless hole he has put himself in. That he thinks, just like Amir, taking after his father, you have to be hard, you have to be tough to be in this business, which is kind of funny. Like they're in the food business, but they make it sound like it's
crime.
The
mob.
Yeah, exactly. It's vad heter det? På liv och fara. It's dead or death or whatever. Yeah.
Life or death. Life
or death. It's a life or death kind of thing. Yeah. And people keep saying, "Oh no, man! You can't do that. That's your father's turf. I can't get you in there. Like we have to." It's like you're selling truffles to restaurants. Calm down.
Yeah.
But at the same time, chefs, restaurateurs, they can get very heated. So maybe I know. There's something to that, I suppose. But yeah, he's because at this point he's they're still looking for the pig, but Robin has definitely opened up more than he would think he would, especially towards Amir. And Amir told him about his mom and everything. So this is the point where instead of like seeing Amir as a nuisance, as something like I gotta keep you around because you can chauffeur me, he actually sees that there's Amir is about to fall into the same like deep dark emotionless hole as his father, and where we suppose Robin was at some point in his career before his wife died.
Yeah.
That he didn't really care about the things that were important. He just cared about the food, which is important, but there are other things. Also reflected in when they're at the lunch and talks to the chef that he fired all those years ago.
Yeah.
Talking about, we have so little things to actually care about, you know. Oh my god, that scene. Anyway, so they cook and they take such care to cook this pretty simple, you know, dish. But it's not what you're cooking, but how you cook it that makes the difference. Because, you know, it's just chicken with a little bit of like pan sauce and some baguette. That's it. But paired with that specific wine, it breaks every emotional barrier that Darius has, and he just starts crying because it reminds him of that one time he was truly happy with his wife.
Yeah.
Before she killed herself.
It was the same, and then the sort of the end of that segment. It isn't actually the end of the scene, but the end of the segment where it's like, I remember every meal I ever cooked, every guest I've ever had, or I remember every guest I ever served. Yeah,
and it's revealed before that oh, you actually made that meal for my parents the one time they were happy after date night. Yeah, so that's why he remembered it. Oh yes, let's do that then. And then the worst part is because before this, Robin has confronted Darius like, I know you have my pig. Like, give me my pig. And he's like, just get out of here. You don't belong here. Nobody cares about you anymore. You left. You're out of the game. How about I send you some money? He's like, no, I want my pig. She's like, I'm gonna send you some money. Get out of here. Yeah. He's like, I want my pig. And he's like, it's not happening. It's not happening.
And that was. It really makes sense that when the reveal is, because I was thinking it's such a weird thing, because he's like, I took the pig because you were on my turf. You're like, because that's what he says. Darius says, at least to Robin, like, I own this business. You're not allowed to be in it, sort of.
And it's also because it was Amir that discovered him. Yeah. So Amir was actually his son was actually getting the better truffles, and he can't have that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna push my son down into the dirt so fucking hard I can, because that's what he deserves.
But that the thing that didn't make sense at all was that at the end he says, just buy a new pig.
Yeah.
And that's like, but you stole the pig so he wouldn't hunt truffles. Why do you tell him to buy a new pig? It doesn't make sense. There's like, I'm going to take your pig so you can't hunt truffles. And then I'm going to give you money so you can buy a new pig to hunt truffles. It's like, what?
Well,
but at the end that makes sense.
It makes sense. And it's such a switch then, because he says the pig didn't survive. The two fucking tweakers that he hired to steal it killed it because they didn't handle it properly. And Robin just breaks down, just starts crying.
Oh yeah.
Oh
and
my god.
And the audio is just
cuts out.
killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it cuts out. Yeah.
And the best part is that the scene before this, when he's just talking to him, like, give me my pig, and he says, no, I won't. I'll give you money. He's just trying to deflect because he knows the pig is dead.
Yes.
But he doesn't care, so I'll just give you money. But then, when he's confronted again, after, his barriers have been broken, he just says, I'm sorry. The pig died. Yeah. And I'm so sorry I did this to you. It's a completely different person.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
That's what food can do to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Or memories, I guess. Not food specifically.
Food evokes memories, yeah.
Yeah.
The movie isn't about food. I think they picked food probably because Michael Sarnowski has some background in working in the restaurant business. That wouldn't surprise me. But also, especially around this time, and I mean, for a long time before that, but like chef food culture was a big thing. It felt like it was reaching a fever pitch in the late 2010s, around the time this movie was made. So, like, if we're going to pick something, let's pick, food. And also, you don't want to. I guess they didn't want to pick anything that was more action oriented, like the Mafia or something. Yeah. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's just so good how those two scenes, the scene where they cook the three things, they cook the food, they eat the food, and then the aftermath. It's what an ending. Well, not the ending, but it's so good.
I think that's also such a. I think that the greatest. There's every character in this movie, more or less, every named character at least, has a actual arc and a good arc.
Yeah.
There are a few side characters like the person who owns the mausoleum.
It doesn't have an arc really.
Yeah, but the real character, which is Darius, Robin, and what's it called? Amir, yeah. Like they have this great, and also even the cook in the restaurant.
Yeah,
he has a big arc. But like speed running an arc. Anyway, and I think the best arc in the movie is just Amir.
Yes.
Who at the beginning of the movie is like sort of viewed as a comic sidekick in a way, or at least framed as.
Yeah. He's an annoying little shit, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we slowly with Robin realize this, all of the layers of this character.
Yeah.
And there's so many good layers. I specifically like, first of all, the music explaining thing.
Yes. There's a theme that keeps coming back whenever you
Yeah, but that he always
you meant that? Oh, sorry, I thought you meant the score. When he's listening
he doesn't listen to music. He's listening to people explaining music.
Yeah, he's fake through and through.
Yeah, that he's like he can't even, or just that he's. I didn't really say that think that it's fake. I saw it more of the way he's destroyed by his father.
Oh yeah, that's part of it.
You can't enjoy things. The only thing that matters is to know how it works.
Yeah, you have to be the best at it. You need to dominate every situation you're in.
Yeah,
typical alpha male shit, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So I like that detail a lot, and then I really like. I don't know if it's just the actual last line he has in the movie, or it's just like third last or something, where Robin is saying, "I was thinking about if I didn't go look for her, she would still be alive in my mind."
Yeah, and he says, "But she wouldn't be.
But she would still be dead, though."
Yeah, exactly.
And that is so. It talks so much about the relationship with his mother.
Yeah.
That is like that's how his father sees the mother.
Yeah, he's literally keeping her alive after she wanted to kill herself. She's on life support at that hospital.
Yeah, and she's probably, or that's what I think at least, that she's like brain dead for long. Yeah,
she's just a husk. She's lying there. Yeah.
But it's like that the father is the same as Robin. That if I'm just blind to it, she'll still alive in my mind, but she's still dead though.
Yeah,
and I think that was such a good, like, I don't know, message, but it's such a good end of his character, or explanation of his character.
Yeah,
in a way.
And also the fact that the first time we hear about Amir's mom, he says she killed herself.
Yeah, he
hesitates. He says she's she killed herself, because that's something. Because of the person he's trying to be, he doesn't want to confront. Once again, he's becoming cold, which I don't think he was. I get the feeling, once again, there's a lot of understated stuff, something you kind of have to read between the lines. But I get the feeling Amir was kind of not like wimpy, but I mean he wasn't this this strong-minded person like his dad was. But in order to live up to satisfy his dad, he tried to live up to his standards. That's why he's becoming this person. where he has to have the best car. He needs to listen to the best kind of music because that's what you're supposed to do. You need it's the whole fake thing with the restaurant food they're eating. Like it's all a facade that they're putting up there because you have to in order to make it. But
yeah, I sort of the same, but sort of not. The way I interpreted Mir's character is that he both his parents were like warm and emotional or like nice people, and he was just a normal kid. But when the mother died, the father, as he says that somewhere, that the fathers became hard or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. And that he was like deprived of, Amir then was deprived of affection so early.
Yeah.
That he had like nothing to see. Not that he's trying to be his father, it's more of he tries to get an emotion from his father.
Yeah.
He tries to make his father pride isn't certain, but anger works too. Just any emotion.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to go in on your field, and I'm going to be better than you, and I'm going to try to do these things to show you that, or not show you, just for you to notice that I exist.
Yeah.
In a way,
because that's the only way he can like communicate with his dad through that sort of
and
intimidation sort of.
I am interested because I read some trivia that this movie is severely cut down.
Yes, like an hour is cut out.
Yeah, they cut an hour because the producer thought it was too long.
And that's
I'm very interested in what they cut.
Exactly, because it doesn't sound like it was just because sometimes you're like, oh, the original cut was 4 hours long, but that's just because they have it's a work print, so it's a bunch of long takes, outtakes, and stuff like that. This sounds like they watched the movie. And they're like, yeah, it's really good, but it's too long. Cut an hour out. And it's like, oh, okay.
Because I mean, if you cut, as it stated, almost an hour, that feels like a plot line needs to have.
Yeah.
That's not just like cutting down and tightening up things. That's like a character. That's like a plot line.
It could just be a lot of repetition, though. We don't know.
But that's what I'm thinking. That feels too long to just be tightening it up.
Yeah, and because I bought the like Swedish release on Blu-ray, and there's no behind the scenes stuff, so I have no idea if there is any of that on some sort of release.
But I am the reason I bring it up is again because I think there's a plot line missing. Okay. Not that it's missing. I'm not. I think the movie is perfect as it is. It doesn't need it.
But something was cut out, which would be interesting to see what it was.
And do you think, if we working theory that it is actually plotline or deepening of something, do you think it's more on the Amir Dario's family or Robin's previous life? Both seem plausible.
Yeah. Maybe mix of both?
Yeah.
Maybe? I don't know.
Because I'm thinking feels easy to cut out in a way. And maybe there is just a lot of cooking food.
That it could be, yes.
That we go back and see Robin cooking food.
Yeah.
Like back in the day.
If there's something we could... that could maybe be good to have some more of, would be a bit more backstory to Robin, how he was as a chef, because obviously we can deduce that he was one of those annoying, super intense chefs. He was very I get the feeling he was sort of like Darius, but he was very, very intense, obviously very like we see in the scene with the other chef, like he would just fire you, like, oh, you suck, you're fired, you're out of here. And, like, kind of like breaking people down. Very Gordon Ramsay. And maybe we got the scene with the sort of restaurant service business fight club thing, which I still don't fully understand, because it's only one person punching.
Yeah.
Did you understand that?
No. And that's one of the few things of the movie which I did not like. because I think it was just. Again, it's just they're trying to create this mystery behind him, where he's coming from, and the like darkness within him and things.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then they just drop it, and that's like, no, he was just a chef. Never mind. But the way I gathered it, that doesn't really make sense either. But the way I gather it, it's like, because they say, big names fetch a higher price or something like that.
Yeah.
Specifically in the cooking industry, restaurant business.
Yeah. So and you see a lot of like line cooks, and like the guy who beats up Robin is a waiter. I'm guessing it's a chance for like lower people on a totem pole to kind of pay money to beat up the people that they hate.
Yeah, again, that's sort of what I'm thinking of. That it's like you have, because there are so many nightmare like chefs and demons in the kitchen, that there are so many people that want to see them get hurt, and that's sort of what this is about, I guess. But I don't know. It doesn't fit the movie. I don't like it at all.
Not really, but it's a way.
Fit. It's not. It doesn't have anything to do, and it's dropped. It's like, why is it here?
It's a bit to show that he was a contentious character in the restaurant scene all those years ago, because you have the guy who runs it, whatever his name is. He waits to hit the stopwatch, and the guy who beats him up is just like goes insane. They have to like pull him off of him. So obviously he was a difficult person to work with. I think is what they're trying to sell there. And then also a little bit in the scene with the lunch, with the deconstructed scallops. But that is not who he is anymore. Like that, obviously, like he is now a person who cares about things that, the only thing that is important is what you actually care about. That's why he lives out in the woods with a pig, and he makes good food for himself. That's it.
So there's I just googled the fight scene quickly.
Oh yeah.
There's just, again, this is nothing official, just people interpreting the movie, but
sure,
this makes sense, and it's sort of what we're talking about. It's the fight scene in Pig shows that Robin Feld's name is still worth something. The man pays to beat the shit out of Robin. I suspect the man worked for Robin at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
That is, it's just that. So it's not betting. It's the one who pays the most gets to do the beating. Yeah. I thought it was sort of betting, where it's like, I put in this much money to see this guy get beat.
No, it's just whoever pays the most gets to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. But weird.
And then, so that's really, and that's getting to the heart of the movie, and to discuss arguably the best scene in the movie, the lunch scene, is that all these characters, really 3 characters, well 4 if you count the chef there in the restaurant. Amir, Darius, that chef guy, whatever his name is, they all, they're not living their truth, as to say. No, but they're doing what is expected, not what they actually want to do, because that's how you, like you said, that's how you survive in this business. But it's also a way to like get ahead in life. Like it's easier to just push all the bad stuff aside, so you can move forward. But in doing that, you kind of lie to yourself. Either you completely shut off emotionally, or you just you live this lie where you cook food that you don't actually care about. But it's what's expected. It's cutting edge. It's what people want. Listen, I have shareholders, I have reviewers, critics. But that doesn't actually matters, and that's really what the movie's about. It's about taking care of the things that actually matter.
Yeah, what is it? It's like the tagline for the movie, and also one of the greatest. What is it? Let's see. What is it?
The quote.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of things to really care about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the scene. I wonder if they have the whole thing. Well, they have the end of that scene, yeah. Where he's pointing at all these people, they're not real. You get that, right? When he's talking to the chef.
Yeah.
Sitting him down. Where they have, I love how they explain it. They took scallops, which is like a nice seafood meal. And they have, it's supposed to be deconstructed, but they have emulsified it. So they took a nice scallop, which you usually just saute easily, so it's chewy, but, tasty. And they have turned it into a goo, basically. Then reformed it by flash freezing it into a scallop again. And then put some stuff on it. Like, that's the whole thing. It's bullshit. Just serve the scallop if that's what you want to serve. Yeah. But no, they're expected to, experiment with food. Because, you have to stay on the cutting edge. You have to do something different. Like, no, you just need to care about what you cook. Chef Finway is the guy's name. Finway.
It's very interesting. I just checked on that, what he's done before. That actor.
Oh, yeah.
Very interesting movies he's been in.
Yeah.
And very long between them. He's in Total Recall.
Okay. Wait, the original?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's in a Splash with Tom Hanks. He has a small scene in 6 Feet Under, the TV show.
David Nell, yeah.
There's very long between parts, and it's very weird parts. I don't understand this guy's career.
It feels like it's not a career then. It's just something he does, on the side.
Fun?
Yeah, it's a side gig. He probably tried to be an actor, but then it never really happened. So now, he does it for fun whenever he gets a chance to work in something.
Because the last thing was like a show nobody's seen 2018 before this one. And before that, it's like a short film, Sister in the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
And before that, the show Grimm.
Yeah, he was in 6 Feet Under. He played Kevin's friend number 2.
Yeah. Because he's very good in this movie. That's why I looked him up, because he's very, very good. That forced fucking smile that looks like he's gonna break a tooth on it.
Yeah. Because I have the quote here. Like he says, Derek, why do you care about these people? They don't care about you. None of them. They don't even know you because you haven't shown them. Every day you'll wake up and there'll be less of you. You live your life for them and they don't even see you. You don't even see yourself. And he just goes, yeah, and he's just, I keep smiling because, no, he's not completely deconstructing my life.
Yeah.
And that's when he says, we don't get a lot of things to really care about. And he just downs the entire glass of wine. And he's completely broken this man. And that also shows, I think, that he can, that shows that brutally honest side of him that he probably showed a lot more of when he was a big-time chef back in the late 90s or whatever.
Yeah.
That he could ruin a person in just a minute or two by completely breaking them down like that. But it's also because he talks about earlier, like, when I fired you, what did you tell me you actually wanted to do? And he's like, I don't remember. It's like, no, what did you want to make? He wanted to open up a classic pub. It's like, then why didn't you? Like, because
nobody wants pubs.
Nobody wants a pub. No, but listen, you wanted it, Finway. Why didn't you make it for you? Be happy. But no, it's all about, like he says, it's about shareholders and critics. But that's not important. And that's the whole, that's the core of the movie. Like, don't live this empty, hollow existence. It's just gonna ruin you. It ruined Robin to the point where when he lost his wife, he had nothing. So he moved into the forest. And it's the same thing. Darius is he's completely cut off from everything. He just sits in his house. He won't even talk to his son. He won't let his wife die because he can't accept the fact that probably he drove her partly to suicide because of the way he acted.
Huh?
And he's completely estranged from his son, who's now slowly turning into him. And Robin sees this. And that's why he decides to cook that meal for Darius with Robin helping him, or with Amir helping him. And you're like, oh my god, it's so what's it called? It's so emotionally cathartic. Only to then realize, like, but the pig is dead. I'm sorry. It's like, no, no. But then it's about then he has to really, because he didn't. Obviously, Robin didn't handle the death of his wife in the best way. I mean, he literally went AWOL.
He literally left society.
Yeah. And now he has a second chance with the pig to kind of process it. And that's when we get the scene at the coffee house, the cafe, whatever it is, the diner, before they kind of go their separate ways. That's when you get he says, if I didn't actually go after her, in my head she would still be alive. And that's once again him denying his emotions, denying, what actually happened. But then Amir, now having grown as a person, says, but she would be dead though. And he's like, yeah, that's true. And he says, I'm gonna walk home from here, see you on Thursday, because now he has, he's past it. He's not just pushing everyone away, even if it's just Amir. At least he has someone, that is, someone he can, care about, or at least, talk to. And he says, yeah, and they shake hands. It's just like, oh. Once again, very understated. A lesser director would have them both breaking down like, oh my god, ah! And they would be hugging and shit, and the music would go, ah! But they don't. It's just like a handshake. He goes back into the forest, washes his hands, finally washes the fucking blood off his face.
Yeah.
He cares so little that he walks around with open wounds in his face. He doesn't give a fuck, whatever.
That fucking annoys me through the movie. It annoys me that it's, first of all, it is barely mentioned.
Yeah, people don't...
Second of all, it's like, oh yeah, I get it that you're this cool guy who doesn't care about things, but God, it takes 10 seconds to splash some fucking water on your face. Yeah. Come on, guy.
But that's how little he cares. That,
Yeah, it just... Yeah, I thought that was fucking grating. That was
a little bit.
I couldn't respect that at all.
It's supposed to be like a visual reminder of the theme that, like, he doesn't care.
Yeah, but the movie's too realistic.
I know.
Working in those kinds of themes.
I agree with that a little bit. Yeah, watching it now is just like it doesn't really make sense. Like,
no.
In reality, Amir would take him to the emergency room where they would give him a CAT scan because he might have brain damage.
Yeah.
He's been hit in the head a lot.
And I mean, even if you're just like, oh, I don't care. It's like, yeah, you can still get an infection. You can still, like, come on.
Yeah. It is.
Put a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah. I get it. But yeah, the third time watching it was like, yeah. That's one of those things that might have bumped it down from a 4.5 to a 4. Wow. Little details like that. And also the fact that the movie goes by so fast. I don't know if that was how you felt. But first of all, it's not very long. It's like an hour 28 without credits.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things where it's every scene is pivotal. You can't really cut out much more. Maybe you could shorten some things, but not really. It also shows because they had 20 days to shoot the movie. So there was like, yeah, we're only shooting what we actually need. That's it. Funny then that they could actually cut out an hour though. That's interesting. I would like to see what that hour is.
Yeah, I'm very interested.
Yeah.
But I also, just going back to what you said, the understated ending.
Yeah.
I really like that it does the... It's probably a fancy name for it, but when it just sort of cuts to black without anything special happening.
Yeah.
Because he just sits on the bed and he looks around and the credits. There's none of those. He falls. He lays down and you're gonna zoom in on the eyes. And then he closes it.
Yeah, no.
Nothing like that. It's just like, yep, that was this story.
It is though. However, there's one final detail there where once again he is willing to actually process his grief, his loss. Because
when he puts on the tape,
he plays the tape that he didn't want to play in the beginning of the movie, and it's his wife, or I guess at that point girlfriend, recording a song for him, a cover of it's "I'm on Fire," I think, by Bruce Springsteen. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
and he actually listens to
it. Yeah, that is like the story that he sees what happens if you don't process grief.
Yeah.
With Darius and Amir, and now he's ready to take care of it.
And even though he's the one who like kind of guides them through, like, you have to, because otherwise, it's gonna hurt you for always. He is still kind of in that process himself. He's still, not processing his emotions. So through saving Amir and Darius, he saves himself as well. So it's nice that he sits down, plays the tape, and I don't know if it's supposed to mean something, but the last thing he does before the cuts to black, he looks up, and I'm just saying, like,
oh yeah,
it's a little on the nose if that means anything, but
No, I don't think so. I honestly think it was just Nicolas Cage sit down, and he's like, I can't just stop. I'll look around.
Yeah, and I love also that song plays in its entirety, and it's I think it's the only music in the credits.
Yes, I didn't see all the credits.
Okay, yeah,
but I don't. But yeah, if you say so, I believe you.
I'm pretty sure at least the movie or the song finishes. There might be some credits after that, but there's no music then, I think. But yeah, it's a very nice. It's a because that's a very like puppy love song basically. Which is very fitting because it's a person he hasn't been in such a long time. So it's a perfect like bookend to the character he is now versus the character he was back then. I love it. All of this.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It's a fucking phenomenal movie.
I did like just changing the topic here, but I just. Going over to the trivia, I was just looking over it again with they cut an hour of the movie.
Yeah.
But I did like that they hadn't had a budget to get a trained pig.
Yeah.
So I like because Nicolas Cage was kept being bitten by the pig.
Yeah.
So there's a great quote though. I've been set on fire. I've been flicked in cars, but it'll be sepsis from a pig bite that kills me. Well. Also, this was Nicolas Cage's 100th movie, or 100th acting performances.
Yeah. Which just proves that we didn't really remove a lot, because this is the 85th movie, I think. Yeah. 84th or 85th
I think,
movie, so.
Yeah, we removed animated movies and TV shows.
Yeah, and if there's like really small bit parts, even though we put
there was
some in.
A few in the beginning of the career.
Yeah.
I think it was like what was that called? That something high. I think high school.
Oh yeah. Shit, what's it called? It's the one with Jeff Spicoli. What's his name?
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. That movie, yeah, where he's literally like two scenes.
Yeah.
We didn't do that one.
Yeah. But what are the reviewers say about this?
Well,
movie,
this has maybe the highest Metascore of his career. It has an 82 out of 100. 39 reviews. The highest, of course, it has a few perfect scores. Let me see here. Here we go. It has 100 out of 100 from Consequence, Austin Chronicle, AV Club, RogerEbert.com, Washington Post, Chicago Sun-Times, Irish Times, /Film is the first one to give it 9 out of 10. But the first one here, Consequence, really right. Sarnowski's debut is a scintillating tone poem. Oh, I hate that. About the inextricable links between love, creativity, and commerce, and what happens when the latter encroaches too much upon the former. Yeah, to some extent I agree. Austin Chronicle, or Roger Ebert here. Matt Solar cites. It's a pretty good critic. He writes, "It's attentive to regret and failure in ways that American films tend to avoid for fear of bumming viewers out, and making them warn other people not to watch the movie. And it seems to understand the way people mythologize others and themselves and the reason it happens." Yeah. Then a lot of 9s, some high 8s. What's the worst it got? A few 6s. The worst it has is from the New Yorker. It's a 5 out of 10. And they write, "The film is redeemed only by the dour, weary, mournful, stubborn, and wise performance of Nicolas Cage, which is not so much a star turn as the project's sole raison d'etre." So what do you mean? They don't like it? Hold on.
I think so. That's I get it.
Just give me the fucking Cliff's Notes. Yeah, they don't seem that there's enough there, but his performance is what kind of saves it. Yeah. What about the artistry, the aesthetic imagination, the full spectrum of cinematic drama that's missing from Pig? It's a movie that tells its story with TV commercial images of a blatantly mood conditioning simplification, with a skipping about drama that incarnates its key plot points without seeming to know how or whether its characters exists in between them. This plain and bland realism rests heavily like a manhole cover on Robin, keeping down the entire range of experience and knowledge that he bears. His memories and his agonies and his sloughed-off aspirations, which are dosed out as big reveals solely as they serve to connect the dots of the story. Which is to say that Pig is not particularly bad movie in its style, its form, its tone, its conception. It's merely a painfully ordinary one. Wow. Well, yeah. I can see what they mean, but I also think it is a very, in that way I think it's good that it's a very economic movie. There is zero fluff, like we said before.
Yeah, I think also they're into the thing where I talked about in the beginning. It's a very small movie with low stakes, really.
Yeah.
In a realistic sense, in a emotional sense, there's high stakes, but in things you can touch, in material things, it's very low stakes.
Yes, that's true. But I think
that's the problem.
The guy wrote,
or problem for some people.
Yeah, and the guy wrote this, Richard Brody. I think he was expecting. He was expecting more. Yeah, like you said, a bigger, more maybe more backstory and stuff like that. But I think the movie, it could work with more, definitely. Mm-hmm. But as it is, I think it's perfect. You couldn't really make it better than it is. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
So that's why that hour, I would like to see it, but I don't think it would make for a better movie with that extra hour.
No, I don't. Again, it's more of a
curiosity.
I want to watch the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I want to see what they cut out, but I would never want a what is it? A Sarnowski cut.
No. Release the Sarnowski cut. No.
No. Because I think it benefits the movie of being so tight. Because it is on the verge. Some scenes are right on the verge of becoming boring.
Before
the end, and that's good. I think But if there are a few scenes, I would say. Specific, the one I'm thinking of firstly is the baker scene. Which is it's a very emotional core. There's a lot of depth in that scene. But if that was like 10 or 20 seconds longer, it would have lost all purpose.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's sort of what I'm saying. That it's so tight, and if you put in that extra hour, it wouldn't feel tight anymore, and then you would lose a lot of the emotional impact.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but again, I'm very interested to see.
Oh yeah, definitely. But what are the plebs? Oh, I mean the audience saying? What are they giving it?
Ooh, it's a good one here. This one, it has a 6.9.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I would say pretty low for this movie.
Yeah, for this movie, but if look at some of the other movies, people have scored pretty high.
So most are scoring this like a 7 or 8.
Okay.
I don't know why, because there's one here. It's like phenomenal, just phenomenal. 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. But then we have a few 10 out of 10s. We always do.
Yeah.
But we also have a few pretty fun 1 out of 10s.
Oh no! These are the people that like seeking justice and. Kill chain.
I guess so. Everyone who's giving it the 1 is saying it's boring and slow. So I mean, they of course, it is boring. It is not boring. It is slow. So if you don't find any fun or enjoyment in the slow, quiet parts of the movie, you're gonna hate it.
You're not gonna enjoy it.
And that's most of the ones.
Okay.
There was one. Oh, this one. It feels very. me in my teens, I would say.
Very angsty.
Sort of. So it's a 1 out of 10. Title of, "Oh, we are so quirky, eye roll." What a vanity project. What an oh so precious script. The cliched music choices. What a pretentious mess. What a sappy concept. The cinematic equivalent of cotton candy. And hey, dumbass scriptwriter, a tsunami is not a wave.
It was one of those pushing up the glasses. Actually,
Well, actually,
I get this movie and you don't.
So I'm going to concentrate on 1 out of 10.
Yeah, sure.
That's more interesting because we've already said everything else. 1 out of 10 here. So joyless and pretentious that it forced me to violate my own rule. My general rule, which I hate to break, is never to award a movie merely a single star. No matter how awful it may be, after all, a lot of time, sweat, money, and hope go into every production. And filmmakers are, for the most part, smart, engaging people who tried their best to do good work. Commentators IMDb who hand out 1-star ratings are Grinch's curmudgeons. They're simply not being fair. But Pig is so utterly empty and unrewarding, and clearly has such airy, exalted pretensions that it deserves just 1 star. And that star is for the title creature, which received way too little screen time. Aside from its brief appearance, there wasn't a single scene, a single character, a single line of dialogue, in truth, not a single moment that gave me any joy. When the film was over, I felt rather cheated. I'm just glad I didn't pay for it.
Wow.
He has a way with words.
Yeah.
A little too good, too much way of words, and it feels like he has seen a lot of movies and he knows movies. Yeah. But to be so wrong.
But that's kind of, I think which happens with some critics or just people who watch movies critically. I myself fall victim to this sometimes, that you are as Chef Finlay did, Finlay, whatever, you deconstruct it down to its part. Like, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't connect with this. But you're missing the bigger picture there, which is kind of funny because that's what the whole movie's about. Like, calling this pretentious when it's like it's a knock against pretension. Like, it's about you should actually care about things. It feels like he fundamentally missed the point of the movie because he was looking at it too hard. He was deconstructing it too much. Like, you didn't see the forest for the trees. Very apropos, because that's what the movie is about.
So I have 2 more reviews. 2 favorable reviews. So there was one I just spot on. 7 out of 10. It's Pig. He's looking for his truffle pig, and it's Nick Cage. That's an out for me.
Yeah.
7 out of 10. And then there was where did it go? Here. 10 out of 10. An astonishing and assured debut with a stunner of a Cage turn. An astonishing and assured debut. Pig may get you into theaters with a veneer of a darker hued John Wick. By way of, how about Leave No Trace? That works for me. Oh. But it's much more than that suggests. This is a rather devastating and deeply emotional film about loss of self and others, and the toll that takes, and how it shows ultimately much more courage to reach into someone else's soul, especially if it's a person who wronged you, than to go about the usual revenge narrative. I won't say how this happens, but it's a film that earns its tragic contents and the look of the film itself. As I told my wife on the way home, the color choice almost looked like truffles. Yeah,
it's a very brown movie.
That
guy got it. He got it.
Yeah. Yes. So I felt we needed to end on a good review.
Oh yeah. That was a really.
So we're coming to the close of this episode.
Yes.
what are you gonna give this one?
Well,
what were we saying? 4 or
yeah, exactly. So, my previous score was a 4.5, which translates to a 9 on this scale, and I said I might bump it down to a 8 then, or 4. But after talking about it, like those little nitpicks, they don't really really matter, because the end result is so powerful. So no, it's a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
So I have been going back and forth between 8 or a 9 for this movie. Because it is the perfect movie. Just like objectively, how it's constructed. There are some things that I dislike subjectively, and I don't know if I can fault the movie for that.
Sure.
So I'm gonna give it a 9.
Yeah.
Even though my enjoyment of it is maybe an 8, but I'm gonna give it a 9 because I think the movie deserves it. Also because it's very low budget. It was done very quickly, with like very few actors and with a first timer. It's just it deserves a 9.
Oh yeah.
Just everything around it. So yeah, that was Pig, the last movie Nicolas Cage made in 2021. Next week we're gonna do the official end of this podcast.
Yeah.
Which is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent from 2022. We are in talks. We have, as we've hinted on, we're going to do some bonus episodes just to catch up what Nicolas Cage has released while we're doing the podcast.
Yeah.
So they're gonna release a few episodes after Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, but that is the official end.
Exactly.
Next week.
Yeah. And we'll probably take a little bit of a break after Massive Talent, and then we'll do the ones we have. I just saw he just released another one, which we could put on the list.
Damn it.
And I think as we move along, for as long as we find it fun, of course, because we gotta do this for ourselves now. We gotta honor the ways of the pig. I think if there's a new movie released and we like, hey, this looks fun, and it's Nicolas Cage, then we might do it. But there's not going to be any regular episodes after these few ones we have left to kind of catch up on. There might be some more, might not be. We'll see. We'll see. Or maybe we'll just merge this with my other podcast. So we'll do episodes about Nicolas Cage movies, and you can join me and my sister on those episodes.
Oh, sure.
We'll see. But the plan is we do Massive Talent, and then we're done for now.
Yeah. And I think we're gonna make this is a pretty long episode because we had a lot to say.
Yeah.
I think next week we should do an extra long, as we did with Uncle Jem. So it's like 1.5 episode.
Yeah.
Just to wrap up everything.
Go through the list.
Pick out
the best ones. Yeah.
Pick up the winners and see everything about his career. But yeah.
So if you want to follow along for next week, check out The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I'm sure it's available everywhere. Also check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene if you want to support us even more than just listening to us and thumbing up things and stuff. $3 a month, you get a bunch of exclusive stuff. But other than that, we'll see you next week. And until then, have a good one. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Madness in the Method is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It is produced and directed by Tobias Vedén and hosted by Tobias Vedén and Christopher Belén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén. A huge shout out goes to all our patrons on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Mom, Dad, Laura Kinney, Danny Del Gaiso, Christopher Belén, Mac and Mom, and Sika85.